We gotta talk about it. Why are diesel fanboys jumping ship to go to gas HDs? Now obviously emissions control is what you're thinking right out of the gate. We're not gonna talk about that in this video. I wanna talk about new things because I'm seeing a trend here. This is a 2025 Chevy Silverado 3500 Trail Boss. I've seen a lot more gas trucks coming into dealers compared to years past, and I think there's a reason why. So let's go ahead and check out the window sticker. I borrowed this truck from Jerry Seiner Chevrolet here in Salt Lake City. If you would like to purchase it, it is available for sale. Let's go ahead and check out this window sticker so you guys can see pricing on this truck. At the very top is the description. Black on black, LTZ 4-wheel drive. This is a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause to see more. And base price comes in at $63,800. And here are all the options. So Trail Boss package is a little bit cheaper on the LTZ compared to the LT. And then you have this LTZ convenience package, safety package, gooseneck, and fifth wheel prep. Love how they give you basically the spray and bed liner with that too. Just a no-brainer, especially if you plan on towing a trailer in the bed, right? Fifth wheel or gooseneck. LTZ convenience package number 2. This one also has a sunroof, multi-flex tailgate, and Z71 off-road package pretty much comes a part of that Trail Boss too. Destination comes in at $2,195 with a total price of $74,795. Obviously, the biggest selling point of getting a gas HD is you don't have to increase the price by $10,000 or $11,000. I want to say that GM actually raised the price of their Duramax diesel simply because they are the cheapest option, and if they raise another $1,500, I think they'll still be a little bit cheaper than the competition. But nevertheless, that is a big factor. Now I did ask the dealership about this truck. I asked them, I said, hey, is it possible to get this truck under $70,000? And Larry told me, he said yes, if you would like to buy this truck under 70 grand, you can. And what's so shocking is that's pretty impossible to do even on lower trim level trucks. To get a truck under 60 grand with a diesel, it's almost impossible. Now on the front end, you guys saw this had the Trail Boss package, so you got those red recovery hooks. On Trail Boss, they do black out this and these badges here. I don't know why on some of the other trim levels like the ZR2, they still make these chrome unless you get a dark Essentials, and I think it will black it out. And you guys saw the premium lighting on the front end. Everyone knows GM trucks have independent front suspension. Even when I say solid front axles, sometimes I do so many of these tests that I'm not even paying attention to what I'm saying because I'm just working sometimes. Sometimes I'm working, sometimes I'm having fun. Today we're gonna have fun. I'm not gonna mess up in this video, I don't think. But yeah, the biggest selling factor to the GM trucks, obviously, is they have the biggest cabs in the segment, probably neck and neck with Ford. Unless you throw a mega cab in, then the mega cab wins. However, you can't get that 6-foot 10-inch bed on the mega cab. They have the largest bed in the HD Super Duty segment. No comparison. And I gotta admit to you guys, I like these trucks without those running boards, whether it be the power deployable or the tubular style. I would probably prefer to have the high clearance steps on this truck because it's an off-road and I think they look so much better. Now BFGoodrich tires, KO3s, they have a really nice aggressive sidewall. They're the exact same size as the Goodyear Wranglers that come standard on Silverado 20-inch. Excuse me, I'm yawning here. LT 275/65/20, which is 34.1 inches tall, 10.8 inches wide, made in the USA. They have 3,750 pounds of capacity at 80 PSI max, fabric material for the liner. And they still give you this plastic for these fender flares. Blind spot, and these top mirrors are going to be heated. More lighting here for backing up, and then all the trimming around the windows, all the chrome's gone except for right here. They say peekaboo right there with the smart key system to open the door here. But at least they paint the door handles for you, right? 36-gallon fuel tank. You have the side steps on the bed, and then because this is a 1-ton, you're gonna have the 5 loops in the main pack and then 2 overloads. They give you that liner standard. And this truck does have the full LED taillights. Now, these don't have the animations like they did back in when they brought these out in 2023, basically as 2024 models. They don't have that cool animation, but they are the full LED taillights though. You guys saw front and rear parking sensors, class 5 hitch. They gave you the camera provisions right here, 7-pin. They still give you incandescent license plate bulbs. Although I will say, I think that the EVs have similar bumpers, and you can probably steal the ones out of there, or you can just get aftermarket ones. 342 rear with a, actually I said 342, see? I almost messed up. See, today I'm not working, I'm playing today. That is a 373 with the automatic locker. The 342 belongs to the diesel. See, I caught myself there because I'm paying attention today. You guys see that pathetic spare tire on an off-road truck? Come on, GM, why that? Okay, so multi-flex tailgate is an option. It's a nice option to have, but you do lose the power function if you get this tailgate. So I would always skip it on the Chevy side of the house, but if I got a GMC, I would probably get it just because it comes standard, and you might be able to delete it with some trim levels, but I don't know why you would though. They only give you bed view camera right there up top, power sliding glass, 5th wheel prep package is slightly behind that rear axle, just a little bit. 400 watts of power, and they give you 3 tie downs on each corner of the bed for a total of 12. And let's go ahead and talk about this gas engine. As we just discussed, you could buy this truck for under $70,000. This engine is pretty overbuilt. It's going to have a forged steel crankshaft. The camshaft is going to be billet steel, has a cast iron block, cast aluminum head, and I feel like there's more room in the tank for this engine, right? This puts out 401 horsepower, which I don't know why GM did not really hit it out of the park there. And that comes on around 5,200 RPM. Ram had the 6.4 Hemi, which puts out, at the time, it put out 409 horsepower. So why they didn't try to at least go to 420, who would ever know? Now, they did kill it on the torque side of things. This is a torquey engine. It has 464 pound-feet of torque, which comes on around 4,000 RPMs. Ford, when they introduced the 7.3, did not introduce the horsepower and torque specs until after Chevy introduced their 6.6 liter L8T gas V8. And when they did, that's when Ford came out with their torque numbers, and of course it was higher, and then the horsepower was higher as well. So regardless of how you look at it, a lot of people don't buy these trucks to tow heavy all the time. Some people have a travel trailer, 5th wheel, that they tow maybe less than 1,000 miles a year. Why not just get this truck? You'll see the towing capacity here in a second. This truck, it will suffice for a lot of that. Now, the only negative thing about this platform is elevation. So I'm at 4,300 feet, about where I'm at here, and in some cases I can go up to 7,000 to 10,000 feet. That will really hurt this engine simply because it's naturally aspirated, and that is where I think GM could really steal more of those diesel fanboys away to this engine. But again, we have to remember, GM makes more money selling diesels. And just as we mentioned earlier on in this video, a lot of people are tired of the emissions control. When you get a gas truck, you have better maintenance, right? I mean, even on the diesel side of things, you're still having to replace the oil every 5,000 miles. Maybe you can go to 7,000 depending on how you use your truck, but I think 5,000 is safe for that. And even for this platform, I would say 3,000 to 4,000 miles. So the maintenance is still going to be cheaper because you have a lot less oil that you have to put in this truck versus a diesel as well. and you don't have DEF, so you don't have to worry about that emissions control part of things either. Now they are trying to add particulate filters, I saw, on gas engines at some point. So again, it could get bad for all of us. We might all be looking to get those EV trucks, right? Just kidding. Last thing to consider is the aftermarket world. I did see where someone did a supercharger on a 2024 truck. It was a 2024 plus truck. I can't remember if it was 24 or 25. Now I'm not sure if the ECMs are still locked up on the gas trucks. I haven't done any research there. But regardless of it, you can do more on this platform compared to the diesel. And because the 24 plus Duramax trucks are still locked up, you cannot delete them. This again becomes a better option for some people. So I think when it comes down to it, it's obviously cost. That's the biggest thing. The cost of a diesel, not just the price you pay up front, but just the long-term ownership. Like I run fuel additive all the time in my diesel truck. And if I had a gas one, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably maybe run it maybe once or twice a quarter. Also, you have to get these trucks on the highway. You have to drive these trucks differently compared to the gas ones. Like when I had my gas L8T, I took town all the way home sometimes. I never got on the highway because the traffic was too bad. Now I try to stay on the highway as long as possible, which puts me about 7 or 8 miles, you know, further away from my house, just simply because I don't want my DPF to plug up. So there's just more things you have to deal with. Your oil changes cost more, the soot levels, there's just so much things you have to deal with. And the regen process, it kills your fuel economy. So sometimes you can get better fuel economy with a gas truck compared to the diesel. So these are some things that I think of why people are starting to jump ship. Because I have some friends who have literally told me, hey, I'm just done with diesels. And they're buying gas trucks, and it shocks me because they've always had diesel. But now, it's just becoming too much of an issue. I've done a ton of videos on these Trail Boss trucks. I just wanted to show this one because it had the gas engine. I haven't done one on a gas truck yet. But yep, this does have the refreshed interior. You have a lot of great features. Also have the wireless charger, center console, 120 volt power plugs in here, deep storage. Yeah, this is a really nice truck. Out back, you guys see, have that little storage built into the back, flat floor surface. You probably have, yep, heated outboard seats, USBs, air vents back there. Nice storage. And what's in here? Can you guys see that? This truck should not be used to carry a slide-in camper. You know why? Because this truck does not have the camper package and it's not a long bed. Therefore, you would have to get that camper package to use this truck for a bed camper. By the way, no heads-up display. You guys see the color of the roof? The only thing I hate about this truck. And home links there, LED lights, no 4K camera for the rearview mirror. But you guys see, you still have the seat memories and all your controls for the mirrors. Let's take this truck for a quick drive. Almost forgot to show you guys that 360 camera, also your bed view. You can zoom in. Now we are driving in the city. Sometimes the gas trucks feel too stiff, and I almost wonder if it's because they don't have as much weight on the front end. But this truck having the lower axle out front is probably why this truck feels a little bit better on the road here. Because there have been times I've driven these gas trucks and they feel stiff. Just saying. Now when you need to get on the highway, this is where I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time with the gas engine. Now if you don't expect this to be a diesel, then you're good. But some people like me can't get over how slow the truck is. It's slow. But the 10-speed does help a little bit because the steps between the gears are so close. I feel like it does help with towing, but I would like to see a 410 rear option on these in the future. I doubt it will happen though, because GM doesn't normally do that. Right over throttle. Good, not great. Good, not great. It's just, it feels sluggish, that's all. And that's because you'll see here how heavy this truck is. It's heavy. It's diesel heavy in a lot of cases compared to trucks from what, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. But let's go ahead and check out the numbers on the door, and that'll pretty much end the video. Front gross axle weight rating is going to be 4,800 pounds. The rear is 7,250. 11,550 is the gross vehicle weight rating, and 20 by 8.5 wide wheels. Payload is actually pretty good, 3,965 pounds, 16,000 pound conventional towing, 18.3 for gooseneck, tire pressure 60 in the front and 80 in the rear. I didn't discuss the direct injection, and I completely forgot about it. That's the only negative thing I don't like about that engine. I would like for it to be direct in port or just port injection personally, but we'll talk about that another day. Hope you guys liked the video. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Do you guys think that diesel fanboys are going to continue to jump ship for these gas trucks? Only time will tell.